Hey, what's going on, guys? So I have just finished watching the Michael Todd podcast with Engin Terzi from last night, and there was some interesting subjects covered in there and some interesting quotes and points from Michael in respect to his match against Vitaly Laletin. And probably most interesting was the quote from Wrmes Gasparini, which, let's just get straight to it. He says that he rates Michael Todd's chances of victory over Vitaly Laletin as good as 70-30, which is a huge call. 70-30, Ermes Gasparini making Michael Todd the favorite, goes against what everybody else has been saying. Pretty much the entire arm wrestling community has been on board that Vitaly Laletin is going to win this match, that he is the favorite. And you know, when we think about this, it makes sense for a lot of reasons when we look at the leverage, and we know that Michael needs height in his King's move. But Wrmes Gasparini, his last two matches were Michael Todd and Vitaly Laletin. So there is nobody better qualified, you could argue, than Wrmes Gasparini to be able to give a valid opinion. And so it really does throw a spanner in the works as to how this match is going to go, how it's going to play out. And even Engin Terzi in the podcast acknowledges that, well, look, who am I to disagree with Ermes after he has just faced both of these men? So a 70-30 predicted win for Michael Todd from Wrmes Gasparini is very bold. It's very bold, and it makes all of us ask the question why. Now, let's go through a bit of the podcast as to what was talked about. We'll see some of the quotes from Michael as well, and we'll unpack a bit of them. So Michael really did start off the podcast with Engin Terzi acknowledging that, to quote, that Vitaly Laletin's younger, he's bigger, and he's a bad dude. All I can do is put in the work. So look, Michael acknowledges straight away that Vitaly Laletin is a very large and capable human. He also goes on to say that he knows that Vitaly Laletin, he believes, is in the best version of his career. We know that he's stopped working as he used to. He's much more full-time in the arm wrestling sense now. And as a result of that, he's seeing that there is side pressure that has been added to his game. And Michael, later on in the show, goes on to quote that if anybody can flash pin him, he believes it is Vitaly Laletin. He then also adds that he doesn't believe that Vitaly Laletin can do it 3 times, and that he sees himself as having the best stop in arm wrestling. The stop being, obviously, if we look at Michael's history, for those who don't know Michael Todd did talk about pre-COVID times when he was doing quite well in the world ranks. There was a time when he was ranked by Engin Terzi himself as the number 2 in the world, only behind Andrei Pushkar in the time on the right arm. So there was a time when Michael Todd was getting stops on everybody, Pushkar, Saplenkov, and beating Devon, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, let's have a look more at what was talked about in the podcast. Ermes, when asked why 70-30 for Michael, he explains that he believes Vitaly Laletin will win center. He believes Vitaly Laletin has the hit, but he doesn't have the finishing power required to put the sword to Michael Todd. The finishing power is the problem, and Ermes knows very well that you can't make a mistake against Michael. He described that Michael has the ability to defend so well, has so much endurance, that you need to be able to relax. When you are the arm wrestler that's on the offense, you need to be able to relax, you need to be able to create opportunities to climb, and he doesn't believe that Vitaly Laletin has the ability to finish. Now, Engin also adds that he has never seen Michael look so big, and then he was referring to when he faced Ermes, and Michael says he will be that big again, if not maybe a couple pounds bigger. When Engin asked him what is his current weight, Michael responded with 314 pounds at the moment, and I believe it was the morning when they were recording, so Michael did make the mention that he hasn't eaten yet. 314 pounds was where he was at. Michael really expanded to talk about why he's pursuing this super heavyweight. He really acknowledged the opportunity that lies before him, because of course the winner of this match will get the winner of Ermes and Levan. And we know that Ermes may win that match, but Levan is the mountain that everyone's trying to climb towards. And Michael has now had 2 matches in a row which are qualifier matches to face Laletin. So he obviously lost to Ermes, and that's why Ermes is facing Laletin next. But this one against Vitaly, the winner of this match, Vitaly and Michael, will get to face the winner of Ermes and Laletin. And so it means a lot to Michael, again, to have another opportunity to climb the summit of the sport and get an opportunity to be the #1 ranked arm wrestler in the world. He said this next 7-month period is going to be an important period for him where he just wants to put his foot down, get as big and as strong as he can, and then he will reassess after that. He does like being in shape. By in shape, he just means his percentage body fat. I don't think he's entirely comfortable with where he's at the moment, but he acknowledges that extra strength that comes with this size, and he knows that he needs it in order to beat Laletin if he is going to get the opportunity. As we were saying before, Michael did refer to himself as having the best stopping power in the world, and Engin sort of prompted him on that, and he did respond saying, yes, I think yes, but if there's anyone that can flash me, it's Vitaly. But I don't think he can flash me 3 times. I ultimately have great respect for Vitaly, and I'm excited about this opportunity, said Michael. I will bring my very best version of me to this fight. Now, one subject that was brought up by Engin Terzi that is a very interesting subject is in relation to the strap. Vitaly Laletin, we have seen control many people outside of the strap. Wrmes Gasparini, he got a pin on Wrmes Gasparini outside of the strap. And Engin asked, can you slip against Vitaly Laletin? Michael said he's never had a problem slipping against anybody, and that he developed quite a skill, that the King's Move lock that he can establish in that aggressive opening exchange usually gets him to slip. Now, he was of the opinion that if Vitaly Laletin tries to hold on to him, it will ultimately backfire for him, because holding on to Michael outside of straps and attempting to press him down will compromise Vitaly's wrist, and ultimately Michael believes he will get to the strap, and ultimately Vitaly doesn't want to put that fatigue into his hand and wrist, so he thinks it would be a dangerous option for Vitaly Laletin to pursue, and ultimately Michael does say he knows that he needs the strap to beat Vitaly, and he thinks that he will get it. Michael says that Vitaly has all the tools, and he sees Vitaly as a silver bullet arm wrestler. But the main reason why Michael believes he has the ability to win this one is Vitaly Laletin's lack of ability to transition to a press. Now, that's all my notes from the podcast. When I think about Vitaly Laletin's transition from a top roll to a press, it may not be world-class compared to other elite arm wrestlers, but what he has in his advantage is the fact that he is top rolling from such a great height. So the opportunity for the first hit to achieve a very good position is significant. And if he does achieve a very good position where Michael is palm up or Michael's wrist is a long way back, then you don't need so much of a world-class transition to a press. So Vitaly will look to do the work in order to establish a viable position to press in that first hit. It's not that he will halfway hit through Michael's hand and then grind into a press like Ermes may have been able to do. Vitaly Laletin is all about that first hit. He's all about the height and the first hit. So I think the match is going to be won and lost in the first hit of every round. Michael, we know he has endurance. Ermes believes he has way too much endurance and defense for Vitaly, and that it's 70-30. It's pretty crazy. Like I said, the community, the arm wrestling community, had Vitaly Laletin as the firm favorite, but now the man that's faced them both has just thrown the spanner in the works and upset the apple cart, and we all have to rethink our position. So let me know, what do you guys think is going to happen? Michael Todd, Vitaly Laletin, that goes down on May 10th, I believe, in Istanbul at East First West 18. It's going to be a huge match. The winner of it will get the opportunity to contend for the #1 rank in the world, facing either Laletin Saganishvili or Wrmes Gasparini, whoever is victorious there. But ladies and gents, let me know your thoughts. It's pretty wild out there at the moment in the arm wrestling world, and I hope you're well.